OMG. Okay, so I'm sitting here working on this project on my computer, working on this project, which has me pulling these different scriptures and in the process of looking at this one scripture. Okay, so you guys know that I've been doing like landscaping outside. I'm so glad to be finished. Yay. I've been doing landscaping outside and along with that process of doing landscaping, but it was totally unrelated. Like I literally had no idea what was happening. I was also like stuck in the book of Deuteronomy, and Deuteronomy was sending me back to Numbers chapter 13 and 14. What happened with the Israelites when they did not go into the promised land like God had told them, and then all the battles with the giants. And y'all know I got that book, I Am a Giant Slayer. I should have my copy today. I can't wait to go check the mailbox today. My copy should arrive. So anyway, I am, like I say, doing some research, and I'm looking over a few more things, and putting some more stuff together. And what's standing out to me is, or I was writing about the landscaping, or like, and anyway, what was standing out to me is the fact that when it came to the Israelites and uprooting the giants out of their land, going in and taking possession of this land that God told them to take possession of, it was a process. Like one of the things that I read about with all of the tribes, that they could not completely uproot these giants. They got some of them out, but they were only able to push them. That's why Goliath and his brothers were still around when David was on the earth. And there are giants today, y'all. There are giants today, y'all. Our day is definitely like it was in Noah's day. But anyway, as I was looking at that, I was directed back to Deuteronomy chapter 7. It's verse 22, where God said that it's a process. He said that they wasn't allowed to completely rout them out at once, that it was a process. It had to happen, and it happened over time, right? And so I'm looking at that and I'm like, wait a minute, because remember, I'm doing the landscaping, right? And I'm pulling weeds and stuff, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. And I was kind of sharing how, it's crazy how what I saw in pulling weeds, like I can work this one area and I can pull all the weeds out the dirt, and then I move on to the other area, and I happen to turn and look back and I'm like, wait a minute, I just finished that area. Where that weed come from? I have seen, you guys, where I've pulled weeds and pulled stuff that was overgrown, only to turn around and it's like new stuff is shooting up immediately. Like the stuff that was overgrown and pushing it down, it was pushing other things down. And so when it was removed, other stuff came up, and it's like, to me, it's like I just got through pulling these weeds, right? But then I got to paying attention to what Jesus said. Jesus said about the sower. It's Matthew chapter 13. Go check out the entire chapter, right? But in Matthew chapter 13, he talked about this parable about sowing, right? And he talked about how the sower sowed good seed. The owner of the land sowed good seed, and then the next day they got up and there was weeds out there. And so the workers was like, I knew we sowed good seed. Where these weeds come from? And Jesus said an enemy came in while they were sleeping. Okay, and that's the part that's making me do this video. The enemy comes in while they're sleeping. Now what you hear a lot and pay attention to, you're going to see a lot of people wearing t-shirts that say stay woke, right? You're going to see a lot of people talking about being woke, right? Ask them, what does that mean? Ask, when you hear somebody or see somebody wearing a t-shirt that says stay woke, ask them, what does that mean? And I promise you, and this is why I'm doing this video, I promise you, they don't know what it means. I promise you. I'm about to tell you what it really means. But let me tell you why I'm letting you know they don't know what it means. They're going to relate it to other stuff that's going on, and they're going to relate it to things that's going on, like in the world around us and in our interactions. But what they're going to miss is this. Jesus said that the reason that the enemy was able to sow the weeds is because the master and the workers, they had all fell asleep. And so because they were asleep and they were not paying attention, the enemy was able to come in and plant weeds, right? The workers said, shall we go in and pull the weeds up right now? Jesus said, no, let it grow up together. Because if you pull it right now, you might accidentally pull a good seed. I've had that happen to me too. I've had that happen to me in the garden where I was pulling some weeds and I accidentally pulled out a good, because they look alike, right? And so he said that at the time of the harvest, a separation work will be done. The angels will come in and will separate the good seed from the weeds, and the weeds will be burned up. So we're in a time of the harvest too, by the way. Anyway, after that, now I saw it there, but it's this scripture here that is what made me come and do this video. Is Luke chapter 12, and it is verse number 39, where Jesus talked about the master of the house. And this is what he said. He talks about us keeping our waist girded and our lamps burning, right? And he said, blessed is those who are paying attention. Like, I'm skipping through, and he said, because the master of the house can come at any time. He could come during the first watch, the second watch, the third watch. But anyway, so verse 39 says, but know this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Therefore, you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour that you do not expect. Now, check this out. There's so much that's going on in this world today. People are wearing these shirts, right? They're wearing these shirts, keep woke, and they're talking about staying woke. And there's songs, I think Glover, somebody did a song on stay woke, and people are talking about it. But here's the deal. These same people that are talking about it, they're having family issues with children being disrespectful, issues with marriages, and marriages are breaking down and falling apart, and communication issues. But yet they're talking about staying woke. Love, you're not woke. You're not woke. We staying woke, in this case, keeping watch, our families, our homes. It's like pulling weeds, constantly pulling weeds. Like, you have to tend to your gardens. Tend to your gardens, and you do that by constantly going out and checking and seeing, constantly looking. Look at the condition of your garden. Look at the condition of your marriage. Watch, be watchful, be mindful. Look at the condition of your children. Be mindful. Talk to them. Watch, interact, communicate. It is so what. But what has happened is, we're so busy with the stuff we do, and our work and our ministries, and we're so busy with all of this stuff that we're focused, because people want to make more money. So they're focusing on making money, and they're focusing on growing their ministries and growing their business. And when they get home, they tired. And so in being tired, afterwards they go and they rest, and that's necessary, right? They go and they rest, and they're tired. So it's not like real communication. We'll sit down and plop in front of the TV. And so instead of communicating, and instead of getting out and doing stuff together and working together, you're together, but you're like this, watching the idiot box, watching the TV, and you fall asleep together or whatever, and you might communicate for husband and wife, you might communicate sexually, but where's the real communication? is the interaction and the stimulation of the mind, and those things are not happening. So marriages are breaking down because husbands are not paying attention and wives are not paying attention because they're so busy with other stuff that weeds are able to creep in the marriage, and parents are having issues with children because we're not paying attention. They're sent to school, planet, and they come home and they're put in front of the games, and they're put in front of the TV, and so there's not really a communication unless you had to yell at them about something. Don't do this, don't do that, clean this, clean that. That's not interacting. So weeds are growing up, and then when they begin to manifest and you wonder where this come from, how this happened, that's because you weren't woke. It's because you wasn't woke. Jesus has been telling us all along to pay attention. Pay attention, y'all. Luke chapter 12 verse 39. Matthew chapter 13. I gotta go.